All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a very specific but absolutely critical challenge: how to raise serious money for major asset-backed projects. And we're going to use an advisory firm called DealRaise as our guide to see how the pros navigate this high-stakes world.
So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you an experienced project sponsor trying to pull together $25 million, or maybe a lot more, for a big development? Maybe in real estate, energy, or manufacturing? If that's you, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this.
Because if you're operating at that scale, you already know this. This isn't your typical fundraising pitch. Securing institutional capital, well, it's a whole different ballgame with a completely different set of rules.
And here are the real kickers, the things that trip people up. Institutional investors, they're not impressed by a mass email blast. No way. They expect a deep, strategic alignment. And the structure of your deal, that's just as important as the shiny new building or pipeline you're proposing. If you get this stuff wrong, a fantastic project can just get stuck in neutral for months, even years.
And that right there is where a specialized firm like DealRaise comes into the picture. They are essentially the expert guides for this exact journey, providing top-tier capital advisory for these large asset-backed projects.
And they've got the track record to prove it. We're talking over $1 billion, with a B, in funded transactions supported through their network. That is serious validation.
That credibility, it's not an accident. It's built on a foundation of over 30 combined years of deep experience in the capital markets. These folks know the landscape inside and out.
And they're absolutely laser-focused. Their minimum project size is $25 million. This tells you right away they aren't trying to be everything to everyone. They're specialists in the large-scale development space. So, if we had to boil it down, here's what you need to know. DealRaise is a highly specialized advisory firm. Think of them as expert matchmakers for the big leagues. Their entire job is to be the bridge that connects credible, experienced sponsors with their network of institutional money, high net worth, and ultra-high net worth individuals.
So the big question is, how do they actually do it? Let's peel back the curtain and look at the DealRaise approach. It's all about a disciplined, structured framework for getting capital in the door.
And this chart really lays it all out, clear as day. On one side, you have what a lot of firms do. They focus on volume, a spray and pray kind of outreach. But DealRaise, they're the complete opposite. They focus on targeted, intelligent conversations. It's not about just getting exposure. It's about crafting the deal structure and finding perfect alignment. They're playing the long game, not just chasing a single transaction.
And their process reflects that discipline. It's a clear 5-step path. It all starts with a deep dive into your capital strategy. Then, they help structure the deal to make it attractive to institutions. After that, they target the right investors, facilitate those crucial first conversations, and then, importantly, they stick with you, providing hands-on support through all the heavy lifting of diligence and closing. It's a full roadmap.
You know, a huge part of their approach is just being upfront and setting clear expectations. So let's look at their scope of work, what they do, and just as critically, what they don't do.
Okay, so here's what's on the table. They work with seasoned sponsors who've done this before. They focus on big, tangible projects. They engage that top-tier institutional capital. They spend the time structuring the deal for perfect alignment, and they see it through to the finish line. It is all about focused, professional execution.
And this slide might be even more important because it builds trust. They're not a fit for early-stage startups. They don't do small raises, and they absolutely will not just blast your deal out to some random investor list. And look, they're super clear. They don't guarantee funding, and they aren't there to replace your lawyers or accountants. They're a strategic partner who slots into your expert team.
So you might be wondering, what kind of projects are we talking about here? Well, this gives you a great idea. In real estate, we're not talking about flipping a house. We're talking about ground-up commercial development. In energy, it could be major infrastructure or upstream projects. For industrial clients, think big facility expansions. See the theme? It's all tangible, asset-driven stuff.
Okay, so after all of that, it really just boils down to one simple question, especially for anyone watching who's in this world. Is your project the right fit for this kind of advisory?
And I think this quote from DealRaise themselves just says it all. It perfectly captures their entire philosophy. They're not chasing volume. They work selectively. They want to partner on projects where the structure, the sheer scale, and the seriousness of the sponsors are what really matter.
So what's next? It's actually pretty straightforward. If this disciplined, professional, and targeted approach sounds like what your project needs, the next step is to tell them about it and schedule a call to see if it's a good fit.
And that really leaves you with one final thought. After seeing how this structured, institutional-grade process works, is your project truly ready for a more disciplined approach to raising capital? Thanks for tuning in.